that we can continue coming together after this march with a shared vision of a more peaceful community where all families can live in peace. Thank you.
Hello Cambridge and Cantabrigians, Liz Collins here with your Facecast and summary of some of our headlines here at neighbormedia.org. We begin with some news on yet another demonstration in Boston, the Free Speech Rally, and the 40,000 counter-protesters who showed up as well. CCTV's own journalist, Christina Kerrer, gave us a sneak peek into what she saw at the Boston Common on that Saturday. Christina managed to pull some great quotes from our fellow Bostonians, such as one gentleman who said he showed up not because he's particularly about fighting anything, but because he is about unity. Along with our footage from the field, we also heard from CCTV's own Susan Fleischman and Reverend Irene Monroe about their take on these recent protests and the political impact that they may have. Let's take a look.
These Republicans, their constituents, say, we don't want the Republican Party to be known as the racist party.
Well, but the GOP as a whole did put out a statement that they do not support racism.
The mistreatment and abuse of children, ladies and gentlemen, is at an all-time high. Not to mention the number of children that go missing every day. It hurts my soul to see a child in distress. These are our children, our future. And I trust that there is nothing the majority of you would not do to help a child. With that said, please, if you ever come across a child that needs help and the kid has black eyes, push that little creep in the grass and run. I mean it. Don't even touch him. Just take off and run faster than you have ever ran before. Now, don't stand there and try to fight a bunch of kids with black eyes, or even one for that matter. That would be your first and probably last mistake. This shit is crazy and you all know it. These little gremlins mean business. I'm talking about the black-eyed children, folks. The real children of the corn.
Woo! Yeah. Hot damn! Speaking of children.
Yeah, I guess we're doing the show because I'm Dave, by the way.
Eric.
And me and the lady had a baby.
Congrats, man.
Since
Hey,
our last
that's awesome,
show.
man. No lobster claw shake, a real shake.
Somebody on the lobster.
Congratulations.
Lobster claws? I'm a big fan.
Yeah, hey, we got one fan. All right. 3 shows, 1 fan. Like them odds. So today's show is about the black-eyed children, or black-eyed kids. Becks, BEKs, as you want to call them.
Because I was afraid that Sophia, our new baby, was going to be a black-eyed baby. But wait, is this us?
Yeah, looks like us. They come in all ages, then, huh?
But it looks like our eyes are turning blue, which is kind of cool. But also, can I just, the elephant in the room, I don't have any Fresca.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So I couldn't pick it up after, but because the baby loves Fresca.
Who's our sponsor? Like, that's what you're feeding her?
Yeah, she's drinking all my Fresca.
Well, that's good. She's gonna grow up strong and with healthy bones.
Yeah, because it's good. I'll get things that taste like medicine.
Really?
Yeah. So she
delicious.
doesn't like it, but yeah, the baby loves it. But yeah, so
she had black eyes when she was born.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty normal thing. I've heard that before.
Yeah, I guess it takes.
But we're not talking about black-eyed babies. We're talking about black-eyed
children.
Kids.
And what they can range from.
They're like age 8 to 14 from what I've researched.
And I think is one of the things they have pale skin, so is it just white people?
I was thinking that same thing. I'm like, are there black-eyed kids? Like, then there's got to be. I mean, the numbers are in favor of that. But yeah, they're usually pale skinned. They're dressed in like old, you know, out of date clothes that are loose fitting. You know, with weird haircuts. They speak in a monotone voice, and of course they have the all black eyes. And
They're
I tried
always trying to get in.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's like a vampire type of thing. You know, they want to get into your house. They want you to invite them in, but for what reason? That's what nobody knows, because anybody who's ever invited them in,
Never hear from
you
them.
never seen them again. So
And I should point out, this is back from the first show.
yeah, back again.
The black-eyed.
It's seen better days. The billboard, but
Yeah, well, again,
But-
the baby went nuts when she
yeah,
saw
well,
it.
you know, they see the black-eyed kids and they get upset. But yeah, so basically their MO is, you know, they show up, and we'll get into theories of what they may be, you know, a little bit later
There's
on.
one right there.
But yeah, that kind of looks like what's his face from Saturday Night Live, Beck Bennett. Why am I seeing Beck Bennett in that black-eyed kid? But yeah, they show up at your house or your car, or some places they've been spotted in the woods, and they're just like bathroom.
Yeah, or they need to talk about. So I think we'll talk about read some true life stories.
Yeah, there's been a lot of encounters with these black-eyed kids.
And what was I gonna say? I don't know. But yeah, sorry.
It's all right, man.
Just
I
wondering.
mean, yeah, you got a new baby, but yeah, I mean, if you want to get into one of the stories, that'll probably kind of paint the picture of what they usually do, because it's pretty much the same MO with every story.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like so. All the people in all these stories, you know, like they feel. You said that they smell bad.
Yeah, in 20 to 30% of cases, they stink like shit. They smell horrible, like they've been in sewage.
But people get this like sense of like dread.
Yeah,
Or something. So like, cause you know, like this kid saying, "I need to call my mom. Let me use your phone." I think most people would say like, "Yeah, here's my."
Yeah, that's your
Come in.
mistake.
Yeah.
But I don't even think they say like.
But they
I don't
feel
even think they acknowledge like mom. They're just like, need phone. You know, they say like stupid monotone phrases.
All right, so I guess maybe I'll read some of these. You can just stop me to comment if you want.
So this is a true black-eyed kid encounter.
Yeah. So this,
Alright.
and this is a short one to start off. So.
Okay.
I was riding the bus back home after work. It was about 1 a.m. I'm a security guard and often work odd hours. So I'm sitting there and this guy gets on, sits across from me. He was wearing a suit. What is this?
Black-eyed guy?
Yeah. Had a briefcase, regular looking guy in his 20s. What struck me about him at first was he was chewing a cigar, not smoking it. Well, he's on.
Yeah, you can't smoke on
You
the
can't
subway.
smoke on the bus. Yeah, so why would he be?
But if he was a demon, he probably wouldn't give a shit.
What struck me was that he wasn't smoking, even though you can't smoke on the bus. So anyways, so I was just looking at him while he stared out the window. This guy's a creep, just staring at this person.
Trying to enjoy his cigar.
Stared out the window and chewed his cigar, and all of a sudden he turned and looked at me. His eyes were pitch black, just as you described. So this is from a site that's collecting these different stories. My heart started beating like a mad motherfucker. And I felt my gorge rising.
Yeah, like his, like vomit, bile.
I was starting to panic, and I had no idea why. I was just pants-shittingly terrified of this guy. I haven't read this one. Then he grinned at me, and his teeth were all covered in tobacco bits and brown juice. The cigar clamped between them. I almost screamed, but instead I had the presence of mind to just get up and take the seat right behind the driver. I calmed down a bit after, but I kept an eye on the guy. He ended up chatting with some girl that got on, and they were still talking when I got off. I later convinced myself that he was just trolling me, having fun with a pair of contacts. Now I wonder. Yeah, this just sounds like a
That's
weird
what a
guy
lot-
like in New York or something.
Yeah, that's why, you know, I don't know if this theory is just total BS, because kids are probably just buying contact lenses and just messing with people, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I want to get some contact lenses.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that.
But yeah, I forget what I was gonna say. All right, but
Come on, give me some black-eyed kids stories.
yeah, between 6 and 16, it says.
Yeah, they show up at your door. They never use the doorbell. That's number one.
All right, what
They
knock?
they
or-
knock and they do a slow
I think I.
creepy knock. So, I mean, I don't know. In my opinion, that's kind of a polite thing to do. You know,
Yeah.
like you said, you have a loud doorbell. So, but they knock and they want to be invited in. For what reason? Nobody knows.
Speaking of knocks, when I knock, do you have like when you knock, do you have a knock you do every time?
Not really. I don't do much knocking these days.
I do the like T2.
Oh, like the Terminator song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
probably-
guys are pretty used to
I
it.
probably wouldn't answer my door if you did that, especially if you had black eyes.
This one's called Trick or Treat. This really freaked me out. Yesterday I noticed my
You
neighbor
or the narrator?
The narrator.
All right.
hadn't put out all his Halloween decorations, lights, etc.
That is freaky.
The past 2 years I've lived next to him and he's gone all out for Halloween.
Nothing's more freaky than procrastination.
These people are just nosy people who should mind their own business.
Yeah, what do you care what I fucking decorate my house with?
I
Especially
don't,
on Halloween.
I don't know him well. He's younger, single, but I know he likes kids, not in a creepy way.
It's already creepy.
And he goes all out for Halloween. His brother and sister-in-law and their kids are usually visiting him, and he plays with his 3 young nieces and nephews out in the yard. So anyway, I got home from work and was walking up my driveway, and I saw him outside and said something like, "Hey man, you better get your Halloween stuff up."
Is that what he sounded like?
Or that house up the street is going to beat you for best decorations. He kind of smiles sheepishly and says that he's actually going to keep his house dark this year and just put candy out. I asked if he was going out of town, but he said no. Something happened last year that really scared him.
On Halloween?
Yeah, I guess
Okay.
probably some black-eyed
I was gonna
kids.
say you got a visit from the Becks, the BKs.
So do you want to? Can people see your?
Yeah, well, I'm vehemently against. You know.
Black-eyed kids.
Yeah. So. I didn't have enough room to write on my shirt. You know, not in my neighborhood. That's what I wanted to
They're
write.
going back.
Yeah. Don't knock on my door, because like I told you earlier, you're not getting a bowl of soup. That's for sure.
Now I was concerned for my own safety if some weirdos were coming around our neighborhood, which is a pretty safe neighborhood with tons of young families living here. So I asked him what happened. He said last year he had his brother's family over so they could trick or treat in the neighborhood since they were blah blah. He had a bunch of kids come to the door like always. His family took off around 10:30. So
These
when
kids
I
are
was
trick or treating at 10:30.
Yeah, when
so
I-
you're obviously black-eyed.
yeah, but I was
You knock on my door at 10:30, you're gonna get a black-eyed.
when I was reading this the first time, I was like, is this 10 a.m. p.m.? So his family took
yeah,
off
they
at
don't specify.
10:30, and there were only a few. But like you don't.
No, nobody trick or treats that late.
10:30,
Even the
like
oldest
7?
of trick or treaters.
Yeah, like 7.
Like-
You're done.
Yeah, or maybe 8:30 at the latest.
Never 9.
No, you're getting crazy.
Okay, and there were only a few older trick or treaters, but by 11:30 they were pretty much done. Yeah, people are asleep.
11:30? Maybe this is like
People have
West
work.
Coast. These people are, liberal. Sorry, I wrote the set. Liberal hippies or something. And they let their kids just wander around, helter skelter. No pun intended. Manson.
Quentin Tarantino has a movie coming out.
About Manson?
Or like about LA during that time, but like Sharon
The
Tate
Satanic
is in it
Panic?
and stuff. Yeah.
Future episode.
So he was inside watching TV and the doorbell rings. He grabs the candy bowl and heads over, noticing that it's a little past midnight, and that's pretty rude for a trick-or-treat to still be out.
These black-eyed kids are upsetting me.
But yeah,
With
midnight,
their
you don't
Halloween
answer the
etiquette.
door.
Yeah, you call the cops. Midnight.
Okay. But
Kids
then-
watching, take a lesson. You know, you don't go trick-or-treating after 7:30, 8 at the latest.
Yeah, maybe we should just make the show about Halloween
trick-or-treat
etiquette.
rules,
Yeah, jeez.
safety.
Jesus. This is really upsetting.
The lack of responsibility is what's more upsetting than the
Consideration
black-eyed
for
kids.
others. So he was inside. Alright, so yeah. Alright, so a little bit.
So, okay, he
So
had the
that's
bowl of
rude.
candy.
But then he notices he hasn't turned off all his decoration lights yet, so his house is still a beacon. He swings the door open and is about to yell boo or something to freak them out at midnight, but stops dead when he sees the kids at the door. He said one kid was probably around 13, 14, and the other around 16, 17, both boys. They weren't dressed up, but he remembers the older one was wearing a flannel checkered shirt. He was immediately overcome. I lost my place.
By the stench of these kids?
Yeah, where
Is
did
that what
I
he was
go?
overcome with?
He was immediately overcome with uneasiness, like opening the door was a huge mistake. They just stared at him, and he noticed they had really big irises and dilated pupils.
Mm-hmm.
Roland.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, these could be kids that are just like on. Whoa.
What is going on?
Whoa, that was weird.
This dude
For the audience, you couldn't see, things are just moving on their own. Probably a poltergeist situation.
Oh
But
my
anyway,
God.
that's not what this show's about. But yeah, honestly, the most upsetting thing about this story is how late kids are trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
I can't take it.
Just not past 9.
No. 9 o'clock is the cutoff. Okay, so 2 teenage boys dressed in rustic clothing, we'll say, right?
Dilated pupils.
Okay.
Alright, so he couldn't even see the whites of their eyes, so he figured they were contact lenses.
Mm-hmm.
He was frozen there holding the candy bowl like he couldn't slam the door in their face as much as he wanted to. So he nervously tried to smile at them, hoping they would break character and ask for candy or something. Wait, just give them some candy.
Yeah, give him the whole bowl.
The younger one said they had gotten lost and needed to come in and use his phone. That was when
that's kind of their MO.
Yeah. That was when he closed the door more than halfway on them and said, "No, sorry." And the older one said something like, "Can we just wait in your house until our parents come get us?" But by then he was convinced that his life was in danger and these kids must be high on something or intending to rob him, and he just kept mumbling, "No, sorry, good night," as he inched the door closed and locked it.
First of all, though, I mean, you're a grown man. I mean, you're like peeing your pants at some kids with contact lenses. Like, tell them to piss off and get off your porch.
Yeah, scram.
Yeah, scram. That's a good word.
Haven't you seen any Clint Eastwood movie?
Yeah, get off my lawn.
Yeah.
But yeah, he kind of pussed out on that whole thing. He could have got more information. But yeah, he did the right thing though. You never invite them in.
Yeah.
And I heard one guy that was talking about this, and then just the whole philosophy behind like vampires. You have to invite them in, and then the same thing with these black-eyed kids. Apparently, he was saying it's like it's not a literal thing. It's like metaphorical for letting them into your mind. Like when you use a Ouija board and you try to contact an entity that isn't from this world and you don't know what they're, you have no idea what they are. You're giving them permission to enter your world, your, mind, whatever. So they say it's kind of like I don't know, a metaphor for that. So
We should get a Ouija board for this.
no way, man. I'm not messing with that stuff. But don't let them in, literally or figuratively, is the key.
So they never like force their way in?
Right.
Oh, that's good then. They just wake you up in the middle of the night.
Well, it could be the middle of the night. I've heard of stories where they, like come up to your car or something, know. And again, I know a lot of them, they're just
Just trying to get in.
Yeah, then they're just saying like bathroom, bathroom. And, like they stink like shit, maybe they just need a shower and they're just homeless or something.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. I mean, we're getting towards the end of the show. Should we talk about some of the what?
Wait, well, you want to finish this?
Yeah, finish the story. I mean, I'd say with just some theories about what these little bastards might be,
They sound just like homeless people.
Well, that could be one theory, yeah.
Maybe they just need a little help.
Homeless kids.
I'm thinking that all these people are just being mean at this point and nosy. He told me he was so fucking scared at that point that they were going to try to break in through one of his windows or something, but he looked through the people and they had turned to leave. So he watched TV, blah, blah, blah. He stayed up till 5 a.m. because he was too scared to go to bed. The whole time he's telling me this, I'm thinking, oh my god, this sounds so familiar. Just like the Black Eyed Kids urban legend. Then I thought, hey, maybe this dude is trying to scare me, blah, blah, blah. So I'm looking at him incredulously.
Incredulously.
Yeah. But try not to seem too gullible. So he says, man, that's crazy. It sounds like the Black Eyed Kids. And he just looks at me blankly and says, that's the what? Is that a movie or something? And I said, no, look it up online. Like an hour later, I get a knock on my door and admittedly almost jumped out of my skin thinking it's a demon child. It was my neighbor and his eyes were freaking huge.
What?
He swears to me up and down that he'd never heard of the BEKs before and it's so similar to what happened to him. So we talked a while longer and I told him that quite a few people probably know about that urban legend. It's possible it was teenagers with black scleral contacts.
Sclera. Yeah, that's the white of the eyes.
Trying to freak people out on Halloween, which would be genius, by the way. But he said the fear he felt was so primal.
Freaking people out on Halloween. That's genius.
And came over him the second he opened the door for them.
So they're using... Okay, well, so possibly they're using some kind of thought projection, which then ties into one of the theories that they're like hybrids of, kids and alien greys, or the tall white alien race that apparently lives in the Hollow Earth, which would make more sense because they're like white and they have, and in some of them that I read, there was a couple where they had white eyes.
All white?
Yeah. Those are like the National Socialist black-eyed kids.
Wait, just thinking about this, do you have any experience with anything like this?
No, I mean, when we decided on this topic, it's interesting and it is scary in its own way, especially because it never goes beyond them getting in the house, so you don't know like what happens. Like maybe they come in and they like dance a jig and then they like hold out a cup and you give them some pennies and then they leave.
But then we would hear about that.
Yeah, so exactly. So that's why it's scary. Like, what happens if you let them in? Yeah. I'm not saying I want to find out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if this was last Halloween or a couple Halloweens ago, somebody knocked on my door post 9 o'clock. Okay, like just barely after 9 o'clock. I looked out, I mean, I had been eating candy for the whole day, and I thought it was a black-eyed kid, and I just blew him away. Turns out it was just a regular kid, and, my bad on that. I did my time, and they let me out. But from that's my only real experience with a child knocking on my door. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so people aren't allowed to come to your house anymore for Halloween.
Well, it's weird. We live in a neighborhood where...
Wait. So can I just say...
I don't want to go on a Halloween tangent.
I think I just talking about this, when I used to live in Allston and I would walk between, like, to Brookline.
That's in Boston.
On Harvard Ave or something between like the B line and the C line, I would see this like gypsy type woman. And I don't.
Romani. Okay, we don't say gypsy.
What's Romani?
That's like Stephen. I think it's like a Stephen King stupid word for because gypsy is offensive.
You can't say gypsy.
I don't know, maybe.
But
It's
so
from
she was like
Thinner.
this homeless woman. And I never saw her like face, but I just know that this like energy every time I saw her would like shoot through me, and I would like have to look away, and I would get so scared. I don't know what she looked like.
And then
but
you had
like,
a baby with her. Holy crap! Is that for real? Like you were scared?
Yeah, and I would see her
I've
like
never
once
had
every
that
few
happen.
months. But this like electricity would shoot through my body. All right, so you can find us on Instagram. Email us if you have any experience with this. And
If
call
you've
us
seen
and
a
stuff.
BEK, give me a call. I will exterminate them for you. See you next.